Guys, it's that time again. My valve cover is leaking and I have to once again take everything apart and fix the leak, hopefully with a little bit of RTV silicone that I guess I didn't put enough on the very bottom end corner by the half moons, and it's leaking all over again. So let's pull the car inside and get to work. Here we go. Now we have 12 coils. I'm just kidding. Here's the look of the new Audi R8 coils, just put in place, mocked up. This is pretty much how I'm gonna run them. So these ones are gonna run sideways to keep the cables out of the heat from the downpipe. Then I have more room back here, so this one pretty much has to come this way, like this, bend the wires that way out of the way. And then this one straight, and then this one pretty much facing the other way, so I can look back up there. Check this out. Here's the Audi R8 coil, which is a coil unplug, 4-wire coil, smart coil as well. These LS coils are also smart coil, they're 4 wires, but look at the difference. Coil, bracket with bolts, and cable. So this one is just literally plug it in and just drop it, plug it in there, and good to go. This one has a lot of things. Also, there's an issue that these coils should not be run next to the heat source, in this case a downpipe, which causes these coils to overheat and discharge by themselves, which pretty much what it does, it fires ahead of time, which is the equivalent of adding ignition timing. And if you add too much ignition time into an engine, it will blow up because it will knock. So I decided to take this out since I'm not running them away from the heat source. So I'm gonna put these ones instead and run it safe. I'll probably be putting these things for sale since I will no longer need them. These are LQ9/LS2 coils with a built-in heatsink, the most powerful of their family. And also I got MSD wires to go with them as well. These are LQ9 truck wires, so they're a little bit longer than the regular LS ones. I have 6 coils here, but I do have 2 more, and I also have 2 more cables, so I have 8 in total, so you probably want to put this on an LS or something. I got the coils out of the way. Now I need to remove the valve cover. Another thing that I did over here that's really cool is that I changed this fitting. I changed this fitting right here to 45 degree, that way this oil catch can line is out of the way, not hitting the fuel rod anymore. Also, I don't need to remove the line to be able to replace the oil filter. We can just take this off and remove this straight up without that being in the way, so it makes it more serviceable. I found the cause of the leak. There's an indentation on the rubber gasket right there, so I was making a gap and the oil was just sipping through. You can also see it on the valve cover over here. The silicone definitely was touching the gasket here, touching the gasket over here, but not here, in the same place where there was an indentation. So oil was just coming out through this spot and just ripping out the side. So after all that hard work, that means what was at fault this whole time for my valve cover to be leaking was like a faulty valve cover gasket. Good thing I have some Permatex Ultra Gray RTV silicone, which just help fill the gap and get me going again, because I'm going out tonight. About 2 hours later, I finally installed the coils. They're all wired up. It was really hard to take the wires apart because the heat shrink that I used stuck to the wires as well, so it was really hard to get those off. But this is pretty much how I got it, so there's no wires coming down, that way we won't get anything on the exhaust. And they literally just like plug in and they hook to the spark plug, and you don't have to like bolt them down or anything. The question is, will it start? Take 2. They're alive. They work. Yes. I think I gotta fix my little tune on idle when it's cold. I got everything mounted back up, wiper coils in, wipers in, everything's checked. I don't think I have leaks anymore. Hopefully it stays like that. Guys, in one of the previous videos at the track, I ended up removing this spring right here. This is the other spring for the wastegate. It has 2 of them, I don't know how many PSI this is, but I need it back. The car was going over boost at the racetrack, and then now I've been running on 1 spring for this whole time. For some reason it was doing 13 PSI at the track, and then I was like, the car that started getting slower and slower, so let me check the boost gauge. I'm only running 7 PSI, and I was like, I can't be running 7 PSI, that's not enough boost at all, that's embarrassing. So today I'm gonna also take the wastegate apart and put this little spring back in and see if I can get 11 PSI again. If it doesn't work, that means I'm gonna have to then get another wastegate, because my wastegate might be defective. Let's get this thing going. In my car, the wastegate is mounted directly onto the turbo, as you can see right here. So it has the best boost control possible. The exhaust is like comes in an angle like this, and it will have to hit the wastegate and then circle around the turbo. So when the wastegate opens, it releases all the pressure, so it just shoots a whole bunch of fire out. But right now it's opening way too soon because it only has 1 spring. So if it gets to 11 PSI again with this and then it starts getting inconsistent, that means the piston inside is getting like kind of stuck and it's not moving freely. So that means I will have a defective wastegate and I'll have to change it out. All I will need to do right now to take the wastegate apart is to take all these little Allen bolts off, which that was hard, one by one. And then it's kind of hard because I have to hold the diaphragm from just popping out, because it has a spring from this diaphragm, from this part of the housing onto the piston, which is holding it closed. Once you reach the spring rate boost pressure on the bottom side, it will push the piston out and compress the spring. So if you add more spring, that means you'll need more boost to be able to push the spring up and open the valve. So that's what I'm gonna do today by adding the other spring and increasing boost with spring pressure. Here's the cap with 1 spring, then the other spring pretty much goes inside the other one and makes a dual spring like this. So now it's gonna be twice as hard to put it back in. Oh man, I should have gotten some help for that. Let's see if I have enough boost without breakfast to put this in. Before I put this back in, I want to show you guys something real quick. You see there is I don't know if you can really see it in there, but it's a valve that opens up with this and it controls boost. I'm trying to get some light in there. Let me see if I can use my phone. There you go, now you can see the valve, but I can't move it. Great. Here we go, now you can see the valve operating. So the valve stays shut with spring pressure, then once you put boost on this side of the diaphragm, it will push against the spring and open the valve, and then control boost that way. New wastegate spring is installed. Now let's go try out some boost. Let's try this out. Let's see if the car even works. Make all the boost at 2700 RPMs. Talk about quick spooling. I knew there was something I needed. There we go. Now I got 10 more cool points. Plus I can see. It's so bright out today. Still gets so rich on top that it fouls the plug for a second. But that made 15 psi in first gear. So it's a little over what I wanted, so I gotta see how it holds up. It seems to be holding about 14 to 15 psi, which is great. So I think so far so good. I can leave it at there. Now I gotta find a place to park here because I'm gonna go eat at Olive Garden now. The car seems to be holding about 15 psi right now. I think that's pretty good right there, but I'm scared that it might start going over boost when you let go of the throttle and get back on, so the actuator has to work a bunch of times. I think it's like a little bit more consistent on like gradual throttle than when you like just like tapping the gas and you go on and off a boost a bunch of times. I think the valve starts like slowing down and creating some resistance, so maybe that's why I was going over boost before. If that's the case, then I'm for sure going to have to replace this wastegate and get a different one. Another update about the vinyl wrapped. Getting close to the date where I'll be able to wrap the car, but the vinyl shop is pretty busy still, so it might be either towards the end of the month or probably maybe first week of April. So I am going to get the car one color, but I'm trying to get it done professionally so I have a really nice looking car. And I also might tweak it a little bit because I want to put like maybe Big Boost on the side, a couple more of the sponsor stickers here and there, and turn it into like full-fledged race car. I tried carbon fiber wrapping the hood the other day and I don't think the vinyl is holding up very well. I'm not really good at this. Either it's probably too much boost and going too fast, and then the whole vinyl wrap is just coming off. I'll probably just take it all off now. Mine, like I'm driving, it's like, and just pop in my window. No, I can't see anything. Come on. Well, I guess it's back to being just flat black hood with now a few pieces of glue residue. You kind of like took off the primer paint that I put on it, so I'll probably have to like respray that. Maybe I'll sand down this too. It has a little imperfection here, so sand it out and then re-primer it again before the next vinyl comes in. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end this video now. I'm going to get ready to film the next one, which probably try to target the... I'll probably try to work with a fuel system. I want to upgrade all the lines so I can switch over to E85 later. That way I can raise the boost and run more power, especially since I turned 30 now. I need to run bigger boost and get as close to 30 as I can, because it'll be great running 30 PSI. We're on it now.